Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for all of your engagement with the show, your reviews, and sharing episodes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's dive in. I want to talk to you about taking risks and making hard decisions. It's something that we all will do in group exercise, whether we are making a hard decision to add a class, to give one up, or both, or change gyms, or add a gym, or take a gym away, or take on a new role in a gym. Like there's lots of different ways that this applies. And I want to give you 3 practical tips today to help equip you in times, maybe you're going through one right now, where you have to make some tough decisions. First, I want to give you a little bit of context. Then I'm going to give you 3 quick tips, and then I'm going to wrap it up. Ready? Let's go. 3, 2, 1, go. It's more like 5, 6, 7, 8, and the context behind this episode, my personal context is that I have been going through a period where I had to make some tough decisions, and they were hard, really, really, really hard. And I've already kind of told you guys in another episode, there was an episode a dozen or so ago where the episode was called I Quit, and I talked about quitting my job. So I don't want to rehash all of that because you can go back and listen to that episode if you want to hear all about that. But in sum, I quit my job as an administrator at the Downtown Athletic Club of Eugene. I'd been scaling it back for a little while. I decided to give it up, and that was the right thing for me to do. I needed to focus on going full-time into Warrior, and I wanted to be able to teach at the local YMCA. New $50 million facility, absolutely stunning, but more important to me than the stunningness of it is the fact that they, of course, fully support all of the Warrior programs, all of them. We have 5 brands and 4 formats, 4 certifications, I should say. So we have Warrior Rhythm, Warrior Strength, Warrior Combat, Warrior Revolution, and we have a kids program. The kids program is not a certification. So this YMCA, along with others across the country, have really supported and embraced our new programs. So it felt like I should be part of this movement at this brand new epic. So also because it's this new facility, kind of everyone from all over town is joining. So there's energy flowing towards this YMCA. There's, you know how like there's this delicate ecosystem in every city, in every town, with the gyms in town and the group fitness instructors in town and the group and the people that take the classes in town. And like if a new gym moves in, it can like upset the ecosystem. It can disrupt how things are. And so this new YMCA has been disruptive in a good way. And I wanted to be part of that energy, a big part of that energy. So it was really hard because I'm just going to be honest. It was really hard because I didn't want to let down I felt strong loyalties to the owner of the DAC, and I didn't want to disappoint him and let him down. And I didn't want to let the members down by pulling, teaching over, like giving up a couple classes at the DAC so that I could teach a few more, so I could teach at the Y. Like there was just a lot involved. And okay, so as you know, okay, wait, so did I finish that thought? Sometimes I don't finish my thoughts, people. Okay, let me make sure I finish that thought. My thought that I was trying to finish is that I quit for 2 reasons. One, I had to go full-time into Warrior. A. B, I wanted to be able to teach somewhere else. And I was, of course, because I was a manager, I was exclusive. So I wasn't able to teach anywhere else unless it was like a free community event, which I like to do. Okay, so back to the Y. So I decided to take on classes at the Y, which meant I needed to give up a couple at the DAC. And that was very scary for me. And also it was very, 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 very humbling because at the DAC, where I have been teaching for 18 years, everybody knows me and I have a great reputation, and lots of people like to take my classes, and I know everything. I know all about everything. Like, like I know how to troubleshoot the stereo 18 different ways. If something doesn't work, I can fix it. I'm familiar. Like, I know my way around. Like, it's comfortable. It's like being home. And going to a new, like applying for a new job was so foreign to me because I haven't done that in so long. And to start like at the bottom where people don't know who I am, and I don't have rapport, and I don't have a reputation necessarily. Like, I mean, it's a small enough town that kind of, but no, not for the most part. These are different members. And it felt like starting over, like having to build classes from scratch. And I didn't know how to get the Bluetooth to work very well. And I had to, figure out how to do their whole paycom system and their subbing swap board, and everything was new. The bikes were new, they were fancy and they were new. And of course, bikes operate in the same way, but like it felt different to my body and how I sit on it and how I adjusted, and everything was new. Everything was new and everything was uncomfortable. Everything was scary. And I like you, I'm sure my classes are so related to my happiness. Like, not to be dramatic, but it is true. And so just the idea of giving up a couple of classes at the DAC was terrifying because they were directly tied to my very happiness. It's an hour of the day where I am my happiest and most fulfilled. And so to let that go was like, again, I know it sounds dramatic, like, oh, it's just a teaching job, but no, it's my soul. It's my heart and soul. It's letting go of a piece, and like, it's not like you can get it back. It's not like I can give up a Wednesday noon class and be like, oh, never mind. I'm not that happy about this decision. I want it back. I can't be like that. You can't be like that. So I was terrified. And I actually just kept saying to my husband and my closest friends, I hope I'm going to be happy. Like, people will be like, well, how's it going at the Y? And I was like, I just hope I'm going to be happy. I hope I'm going to be happy with this big decision. So I didn't know immediately. It wasn't like I made the decision and I was like, oh yeah, this was the right thing. I made the decision and I wasn't immediately happy or unhappy. I was not sure. I felt like there was hope. I felt like there was hope, and I hoped I made the right decision, and I hoped I'd be happy, but I wasn't yet. I was still meeting new people every single week in class and having small numbers. And again, this is fairly recent. So I think my first classes were in March, April, May, June. This is the end of June right now as I'm recording this. You'll hear it in July. So it's still fresh. So, okay. So it just felt scary. Everything about it. Like, it has all these great party lights. I didn't even know how to get the lights to work, Everything felt new. Everything felt scary. Hoped I'd be happy. So let's kick things off there. And then after I give you my 3 tips, I'll conclude and I'll give you an update on whether or not I'm happy. Okay. So my first tip in making a really hard decision is to be thoughtful and unimpulsive. To be thoughtful and unimpulsive. Never make a decision like this on impulse. I have to tell you, my decision was 2 years in my brain in the making. For like 2 years, I knew I needed to free up more time and let go of admin and let that part of my pride and ego go and that part of my identity go. I knew for like 2 years. It took me like 2 years. it took me, I was afraid, I was losing income, you know, took me 2 years. So I want to say to you, please give it 6 months at least, making a big decision. And I even think if you're thinking about giving up a class or adding a class, I consider that a big decision because it does relate to your happiness. If you're an instructor and you're a passionate one, like you are, if you're listening to this episode, then it's a big decision. So it's not just like 1 hour of your life and whatever you get paid. No, it relates to your mental health. It relates to your happiness. So, all right, be really clear on, this is under like be thoughtful and unimpulsive. Be really clear with yourself on what you want as a fitness professional in terms of your bigger goals. Are you aspiring to any other bigger goals? Do you want to become a manager someday, a presenter someday? Do you want to teach more classes a week than you currently teach? Do you want to add more formats that you currently add? Like, what are your goals as a fitness professional? And does the hard decision you're trying to make align with those goals? Similarly, what really, really, really does matter to you the most? And there isn't a right or a wrong answer here, but I want to be specific in what I'm talking about. Does teaching huge classes, big party energy classes, is that the most important thing to you? Is money the most important thing to you? Like if one facility pays better than another, how much does that weigh into you? Does convenience matter to you? Like one club's 45 minutes away during rush hour, but the other one you can get to in 5 minutes. Like, and so that would change the quality of your life. Does convenience matter? How much does time slot and time slot availability and opportunity to advance matter? How much do these things matter? And how do they weigh in to your hard decision today? So I'll tell you right now that while I very much do care about money, I am someone that cares a lot about money, it is not the most important thing to me. It's energy and community. It's energy and community. So that's part of what made this decision so hard, is because I knew I'd have to rebuild a community, start over. And then in terms of being thoughtful and unimpulsive in your decision, make sure you really think through the pros and cons, and you look at it from different angles, and you look at it as unemotionally as possible. Imagine you're trying to give advice to your best friend and not yourself. Try to strip the emotions out of it, poke holes in it. And then this is a little weird and like maybe like woo-woo-y for you, but it's gonna sound woo-woo-y. I know it is. But how does this space feel? Like, to me, before I made a decision, I went to the YMCA 2 times. Okay, I know I sound weird, to feel what it felt like in my body and in my stomach. Did it feel good? Did it feel light? Did it feel happy? Were the people smiley? You know, I came and I took class, and I met with the director, and I sat with her on the stage, and she had her laptop open, and so did I, and it felt good. I liked her. She felt good. It felt like a good fit. It felt like I could trust her, and it felt like she was very authentic, and I was drawn to her, and that mattered. So I took some time to feel out before making commitments, you know, what the change might feel like. So if possible in your situation, try to feel things out. The people, the space, whatever that means. Okay. Number 2, after be thoughtful and unimpulsive, is make a decision. That might sound like it's a point that doesn't need to be made. Oh, but it does. Because if you don't make a decision because you just think it's going to happen for you or happen organically, or if it's meant to be, it will be. If you don't make a decision, you are making a decision to not change, to not do the thing. And that thing might be tied to your growth. Not making a decision is a decision. So make a decision. Some of us aren't good at that. It's a muscle. Trusting yourself to make decisions is a muscle. Decisiveness is a muscle. And the more you use it in your life, the better you'll get at it. And the more you learn to trust yourself and your instincts, not that you will always make right decisions. Point number 3, and the last point, is sit with the fear and, parenthetically, lean into faith. Sit with the fear and lean into faith. When I train new instructors or talk to people about becoming instructors, they often talk about the nerves and the fear of having to, performance anxiety stuff. And I always tell them this, that fear is like a mountain in front of you, and you can't go around it. You can't bypass it. You can't dig a tunnel and go underneath it. You have to climb that mountain of fear. Every instructor has done it. We all did. I don't know a good instructor in the world that started teaching fully confident and didn't have any anxiety or nerves about teaching. For me, those nerves lasted for 6 months. Shoot, I still get some of those nerves. Butterflies, excitement. It's not fear anymore. It's just excitement, butterflies. But as a new instructor, we go through this mountain of fear. Do you remember? I just used to just like, my stomach would churn, and oh my gosh, almost sick to my stomach driving to those first classes I taught 24 years ago, driving in, and then just like overwhelmed with relief that it went over and it like went well or whatever. But so anyway, with making decisions, there's fear involved, and there's no way to go around it. You can't tunnel. You just got to go through it. And so that's when I would also say, like, lean into faith. And, maybe you put that faith in yourself. Maybe you're good at making decisions and you put that faith in yourself. Maybe you've sought counsel on your decision and you're putting your faith on your mentors and the people that have helped given you counsel. For me, it's all of those things and God. I really like, I've given God my life and my, in my heart, I want to do good work, and I've asked for blessing. And so I have faith that when I make hard decisions, that he's got me. So I know that, people are very different in their religious beliefs, but whatever it is, like, lean into your faith, lean into faith, have some faith. It will help soothe the fear that we can't avoid. So we sit with the fear, we let it happen, we lean into faith. One more little small point here is that if you're in a situation where not everyone is going to be happy with your choice, maybe that's making it scarier or harder for you, just do your best to walk with personal integrity, being very mindful of your reputation in all of your interactions and conversations with all those involved. And that's all we can do. We can be kind, professional, keep our side of the street clean, and ultimately do what's best for you, your family, your business. Yeah. Okay. So my recap is that I'm happy. I'm so happy. I'm happy. I'm so relieved to tell you that I'm happy. Like, I mean, when I was podcasting about I quit my job too, I was still very unsure, how things were going to work out. And it has only been about 4 months, but I am building a new community as well as seeing a lot of my existing community rally and come. And it's been really, really, really good for me. I'm growing through it. I'm loving the change, the ability to touch more lives. It feels right. And every time I leave that YMCA, and I'm still teaching classes at the DAC, so I feel like I have the best of both worlds. Every time I leave, I'm thanking God that I made that decision. It feels good. It was the right decision. So let's recap, and then I'll make a confession. My recap is to be thoughtful and unimpulsive. Make a decision. Sit with the fear and lean into faith. You're going to be okay. God's got you. My confession is that there was another time in my life, actually, that I was way more scared. And it was with giving up my previous management job to go to the DAC, which was such a blessing. It ended up being such a blessing. And I labored over that decision. I was sick to my stomach, up at night, fear gnawing at my guts. It was the same. I mean, it was like the same kind of like, well, no, it was different. It was management. It was a management position. So it was like, but I had to like stop teaching in a place that I loved, in a job that I loved, but I had another opportunity and I didn't know what I didn't know. I was paralyzed by the fear and the decision. But in that instance, one had to be made. I couldn't just sit on it. Like I had to give an answer. And I actually tried to say no to the job 3 times before I finally agreed. But guess what? It was the best thing in the world to make that shift and to start working at the DAC. Because like 6 months later, I was actually at IDEA, and my friend Becca Jackson and I, former Beachbody master trainer, maybe some of you listening know her, we decided to make a little vacation out of our trip to IDEA, like a little mini after IDEA. So we went to a resort for a couple days. We took a train. Oh my gosh, it was so fun. And we were sitting at the pool. And like while I was at the pool in San Diego at this resort, I heard that the gym that I was, the one that I loved and left, that they were closing. So had I not made that decision and taken that huge leap of faith that gnawed my guts into smithereens, I would have been jobless. I would have lost my management job and all my classes. I would have had to have a broken heart over leaving those people anyway. But God had me. Universe had my back. My instincts were right. My mentors and the people I leaned on gave me good counsel. And I made the right decision at that time. So that's my confession, is that I've been there and done that with hard decisions numerous times. That was another epic one. But for you listening, if you're going through something hard right now, I'm sorry. It's probably just going to make you better. It will make you better. Change brings about growth. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you guys later.